could give a damn what your first impression is of me.
Right.
That's on you. That's, who knows what you're projecting that day. If you're in a good mood, a bad mood, you know what I mean? Like, I can't control that. I don't care.
Welcome back to another episode of Girls Gotta Eat. Haven't seen the sun in 2 weeks. Day before the 2020 election. It's a lot of feelings. I have to disconnect from the news a little bit. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about how we're feeling.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp Therapy Online. For 10% off your first month, go to betterhelp.com/GGE. So we all carry around different stressors, big and small, throughout life. And when we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us really negatively. And therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and figure out how to work through whatever is weighing you down. And sometimes we can have journals and self-talk and friends and family to help us, but it is really, really helpful to talk to a therapist outside of that, and they can empower you to be a better version of yourself and set boundaries and work through whatever is going on with you personally, professionally, in your love life, with friends. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. So you'll just fill out a brief questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists anytime at no additional charge. I absolutely love what they're doing, and they make it so simple. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/GGE today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/GGE.
Before we get into the dumpster fire that has been the election season,
the last 4 years, the last 4 years.
Some of you, a few of you, have been asking
what who we voted for. A lot of you have been asking. I know I've been undecided, but I got there and I decided on the spot.
Somebody email us and say we need to be more clear about who we're voting for? Didn't that happen, or did I imagine that?
That sounds like a dream.
We get some weird emails.
I think that's something that wouldn't happen, but okay.
It did. It probably happened. Big announcement, huge. Probably the biggest announcement ever that anyone's ever given in the history of announcements.
Oh, gross.
We have all new merch coming out. It is so beautiful. It is more beautiful than anything we've ever done. Probably more beautiful than anyone's ever done. We had an incredible designer. I don't know if I want to tell people who she is. They'll steal her.
Yeah.
But it is all new, gorgeous sweatshirts, hoodies. We have all kinds of cute home stuff. We have a bucket hat.
We do have a bucket hat. Get a bucket and a mop.
And a fanny pack. We have those too. You can wrap yourself in a Girls Gotta Eat blanket.
A lot of stuff.
Yes, there's so much stuff. It's absolutely beautiful. We're so proud of it. You can go to our website, girlsgottaeatpodcast.com or girlsgottaeatpodcast.shop. It's either shop or store.
Just go to .com. Figure it out. Yeah, I'm so excited too. This stuff is so incredible. It's so awesome. We just did a lot of new designs, and you might be thinking, I feel like I heard this not too long ago, but we, in all honesty, we made some changes with our merch arm of the business. COVID really affected everyone that was sending things out in terms of delays and apparel and where you get the items and things like that. So we know that some of you guys ordered stuff before and you may have experienced delays, but we have really worked hard to make sure that that's not the case again. We've tweaked things. We've really strived to make sure that we have like a really streamlined, easy, speedier shipping, cooler items, like all the things. So hope you guys take a look and shop it up. And, if you experienced delays before, we apologize. It's just one of the things of like the state of the world. So it's fixed now. So no worries there.
Yeah, no crazy delays. Obviously, we're not going to harp on this, but there can be days. We're going to keep you guys posted in terms of holiday deadlines and when you can order stuff. But order stuff as early as possible. Order yourself a voting week gift.
Yeah.
But it's really cute. We have man stuff as well. If you're a man fan,
we have GG Man merch. I'm very excited.
Live your truth.
We're really just so proud and excited about this one. So.
Yeah. So I'm just so obsessed. So like, I already wore all the merch, and so now I'm just going to like get so much more.
All I'm going to do is I'm going to have a phone case, my blanket, my fanny pack. I'll never wear the bucket hat, but you go off.
I'm going to go off the bucket hat. I'm going to get the laptop sleeve. I mean, it's going to get serious. So yeah. We had to make some changes, and we did, and we're back again with another merch launch. Dropping new merch. Drop it like it's hot.
So look for that on our website. We're excited for you guys to check it out. And when you get it, tag us in your cute pics.
Yeah, of course. And we have such an incredible episode today. We're going to keep this intro short because this episode, so our guest is Nina Parker, who you definitely know if you watch TV. I mean, she's on E! She's on E! Nightly Pop, E! Dating No Filter,
like Access Hollywood, The Insider, TMZ. When I was writing her bio for this intro, I was like, I have done nothing.
Oh, Love and Hip Hop. She's been on the red carpet for whatever. She's been everywhere. And I gotta tell you, I was like editing this. We already talked to her. Obviously, we did the interview with her, and I was editing it, and I just was like, it's so long. Like almost every guest, like behind, like a little behind the scenes for you guys. There's some like chunk that comes out, right? No chunks come out. Like every single thing, I was like, I'm sure this next thing I'll be able to like tighten it up, cut it a little bit. Nope. She had hot take after hot take. So much really great, fresh dating advice. And I mean, she doesn't really call herself a dating expert. A lot of it's just like kind of the way she views the world. A lot of stuff that you just need to hear, and like with a different voice, she's just really funny. She's really great. And so I implore you guys to listen to the whole episode, and like, it's just going to keep coming. The hot takes and the advice and the good shit's just going to keep coming. So
and we talked about a lot of stuff with her that we have covered on other episodes. And I feel like all of her takes were fresh. Dating apps, when to touch a person, what to talk about, when to leave. She went through a breakup. We talk about that. It's just, you'll listen to the episode. You guys are here.
You guys are here. You're already here. So just get locked in. Okay. But while we are talking about guests, I have something to show you.
I'm very excited.
A former guest of ours sent this to me just for us. Like she sent it to the house studio address. So she sent 3 things, like one for me, one for you, one for Dewey, I guess. And it's like it's right here. You haven't looked at it yet.
You look so like cute and adorable. Like it looks like Christmas morning. I'm excited. I don't know what this is.
Okay,
we revealed it on the podcast.
I guess I'll just make you guess who it's from first. It'll be easy. But who did I want to be friends with the most?
Amy Chan.
Went
out of town.
And then Amy Chan moved away. And so now we have to go visit her in Vancouver.
She did ghost us out of New York City. She actually did try to.
We were trying to hang out, and then the COVID hit, whatever. So
she's great. Breakup Boot Camp. Can't recommend. 1 year ago, exactly 1 year ago.
Yes. One of our favorite episodes, one of our like most life-changing episodes per our listeners. And Amy Chan sent this to us. So she has a side hustle you're about to see. She's really not just like the breakup guru. She does a little something extra, and she did it for us. So
okay, it's a piece of paper.
What?
I'm speechless over what this is. I need you to like explain.
Okay, so yeah, so she does doodles. Her Instagram is Amy Doodles OK, and she does like customized doodles. And she made one for us, and it is the most intricate. It's everything. I don't know how to like read a few things from it. It's picture Rain and I were cartoon, like we're animated, and then it's like all the things around us that she doodled that we like say, the things we love. There's Dewey, there's croissants.
I mean, it's so incredible. She has Raina's thirst traps, and it's pointing to the book Sapiens.
Yes,
like
that's what I'm saying.
Know
so
everything
specific.
About us. Like,
yes,
this is the most thoughtful, incredible, interesting, cool thing I've ever seen. Like, will she do this for people like for gifts?
Oh my god! So that she says. I mean, gosh, now we're gonna blow her up. But
this is the greatest gift.
She'll commission these, so you just slide into her DMs.
This would be the greatest birthday gift, holiday gift, most thoughtful thing. I feel like I'm gonna go home and frame this and put this on my wall.
Well, we have 3. So I have one for you. This is one of my most flattering things at the top of mine. It's this channeling RBG, and there's like Ruth Bader Ginsburg with a doodle, and then in the corner it says there's an internet troll, and then it says death by churro. There's a churro going into the troll. R.I.P. Verizon Fios. I hate on Friday. Oh, I also hate Uber now. By the way,
restaurants that serve shrimp with tails on it.
I know.
Oh my god!
Some of your favorite things.
She has my Chex Mix and my beige carbs,
and then
and the neighbor I fucked. He's there. What if he comes over to my apartment? I gotta show him.
I know.
I'm having like a real moment.
Did you even read that?
You babed too soon. Oh my god! I have to show this to that guy.
Of course, she has this guy that says big dick energy. He looks like he's like 19.
I just just want to say,
do you see Dewey eating a taco?
I'm gonna go home and just look at this for the rest of the night and study it. I can't wait to frame this. I just want to say, like, I feel like I'm gonna cry when I think about this. Like, the greatest gift that like this show has like given me is like the people that like it's brought into our lives, and like being able to like know people that do stuff like this. And like, I mean, obviously like my friendship with you and our audience is so special, but like the guests that we've had on the show, like we put so much work and time and energy into like vetting people for you guys and making sure every week is different and interesting. We only like give people a platform that like we really think are doing something great in the world. I feel like I'm very emotional.
Oh my God. Wait, did you see I don't like anything on my butt? Did you even read that?
Guys, we're gonna take a picture of this, put our Instagram.
No, she sent me the digital too.
Oh, thank God.
So we'll post it.
Of course she did, because she's amazing.
I know. So I was so excited I got to show you this. And I opened this while I had something playing from Calm, and I had a real moment. Like,
did you cry? Did you cry?
I got really emotional. I'd had kind of like a weird day, and I'll tell you what it was on the Calm app, so stay tuned. But it was like my favorite type of music was playing. I looked at this and I was like, whew, it really, I had a moment.
I can't recommend this enough. I also have two like little quick things to tell you. First of all, I was like a little late coming over here today.
Okay.
That's because I ordered food and I was waiting. Listen, it's soup season again.
Oh my God.
You know, soup is my truth. Soup is my truth.
How are you going to do this on an already too long episode? This will be a 3-hour episode. God damn it. I can't believe you bring up soup now. I told you we got to keep it short, and now's the time. Couldn't have waited until next week.
I ordered 3 soups.
Pop off about soup.
I ordered 3 soups from Helen Hardy. It took a long time to get them. I wanted to taste all 3 of the soups. I have soup at home. I can't wait for this to end so I go home and eat more soup. Soup is my favorite thing.
Girl, we know.
I
can't believe there's no soup on that.
I'm going to talk about soup the entire season like it's Eudora cancer season. Okay. Every week, soup update.
Pop off.
It's my favorite food. It's my favorite hangover food. I'll eat at 8 in the morning when I'm hungover. When it's 90 degrees outside, I'm hungover. I'll go get soup.
It's insane.
I fuck with soup hard.
Yeah.
Okay, then this other quick thing I wanted to tell you, and then we'll move on. I had this like really funny experience with my dad the other night. Okay. So the World Series was this week. Well, we're recording this week. It was last week technically. And I'm talking to my dad about baseball is my dad's favorite thing. He dragged us to season tickets to the Pirates every single year. My whole life I hated it. It's like being tortured. So we were watching the World Series, and he's talking to me and he's like, I gotta tell you, and he like lights up. I've never seen him like giddy like a child. And he's like, the best day of my life was when Bill Mazeroski hit the home run, the winning home run in the World Series. I guess it was in like 1960. I looked it up. It's 1960. He hit a home run. He played for the Pirates. My dad like went with his dad, and he was like, it was the greatest day of my life. And I was like, it was? And he was like, just it. And you can tell when somebody's like going back in their brain, they're not even listening to you anymore. And he's like, it was the best day of my life. I'm like, you can't think of any other days that might be a good day. And he's like, no, you don't understand. Like the best day of my life. He starts sending me videos of the World Series. He may watch 3 different videos of the home run. Couldn't hammer it home enough. I was like, not when Arlen and I were born. No, he was like, I mean, this was the best day of my life.
You know what?
It probably was.
He was being honest.
Yeah.
It wasn't. That wasn't. Man, listen, people, you need to stop lying about the best day of your life being when your kid was born. That's not, I'm kidding. People probably do really feel that. But your dad does it, and that's his truth. And that's his truth.
I'm not even mad at him for it. That's like my favorite person in the world. I feel very loved and supported. If he wants to pick that day,
yeah.
Honestly, if that wasn't the best day of his life, the day that I was born, I blame my mom. Right, maybe she should have been a little bit nicer to him.
That's on her.
My mom said he brought a handle of whiskey and a whole loaf of white bread and smoked turkey to the hospital and just sat in the waiting room and just got drunk, made sandwiches.
Right. Like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, like you have your kid, whatever. But like, you're also you're at the hospital. Who wants to be at the hospital? It's stressful. There's fluids and goo and there's a baby. And like, no, I'm not. I get that it's special, but I do respect someone not saying that because they feel like they have to.
He really doubled down sending me the videos. He's like, no, you didn't even get a good angle on this one. You got to watch the others. It's just black and white old videos from 1960.
Yeah, that is so funny. I feel like so many like men have that, like some stupid sports event that's the best thing that ever happened to them.
It is. I've read about this. It is widely considered like one of the greatest moments in sports history. It is
the greatest moment in the World Series, the greatest home run. He hit the home run to like win it. I don't fucking care about any of this shit, right. But it is widely regarded as one of the greatest moments in history. And he was there with his dad. I know, right? You're like falling asleep while I'm telling you this, but it was better than the day that I was born.
Yeah.
So I was excited to tell you that. He was misty eyed and pretty excited. He barely remembers my birthday. My brother has to text him to remind him that it's my birthday.
Listen, it's mid-June. There's a lot of Geminis. It's fine. The best day of my dad's life. It can't have been
it was when Matt was born.
July 9th, 1995. It can't have been. Yeah, it's definitely when Matt was born. We shot my mom on one time, and we can talk to her about her birth story because I was a nightmare, and of course Matt was just perfect. Pop right out. My mom was in labor for 24 hours with me. They had to lay on her stomach. She almost died. I almost died. It was a whole thing.
That was not the best day of her life.
Yeah, no, I don't blame her. I'm like, ew.
It is funny. It's like you can't think of anything else that was better than that day.
Thanks for sharing your truth. I'm glad that was a story about your dad that wasn't about him knowing how you like sucked a dick or something. You know,
he already knows that.
He already knows all those things. So we can't ignore the fact that this episode is coming out on November 2nd. Whenever you're listening to it, maybe you're listening and it is the day before the election. Maybe it's election day and you're trying to take your mind off what's going on. Maybe it's the day after. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. Like I just kind of wanted to address it. This isn't going to be some political PSA. I think we've done our due diligence there. I think we have spread the message far and wide. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already voted if you mailed in, if you did early voting, whatever it may be. But we still at least want to address it and like talk about how we're feeling, I guess, in this moment. So it's a few days before, obviously we're recording, but I voted on October 28th. It was so easy. I don't know. The voting place is on my street. I walked down there. It took me 8 minutes in and out. Like, I don't know. Like, also a few friends have told me that was really easy for them too. But I saw people like waiting in these long lines, 3 hours in the Upper West Side. I saw I was just like, man, I had it really good. So that was my first time voting in a presidential election in New York City. I felt really proud to do it. I had a great experience. I came home, I took a thirst trap, and that's my truth.
That was the most important thing you did that day. Was take the photo without your pants on.
Of course.
For sure.
Trish, first time she did vote blue. You know, Trish did vote for Donald J. Trump in 2016. And
I can't believe even the character voted.
Trish has been swayed. She's still registered Republican, but, you know, she did vote for Joseph R. Biden for president of the United States for 2020.
Listen, bitch, you could go back to being a Republican in 4 years. Go right back. We don't need you in 4 years. We just need you now.
But I did, people were asking. A lot of you have been asking about Trish.
A lot of you guys have been asking. Who Ashley and I are voting for.
Trish's politics. So
take a guess.
Yeah. No, but she
just this time she did the right thing.
Yeah.
It's a very emotional week. I have been I will say I feel like personally for me, I've done the wrong thing, which is to be locked into the news 24 hours a day, all day. I think it's really important to take a break from that stuff, to walk away, to do some mental health stuff for yourself. We are going to do some mental health stuff and address that, but just, it's important to shut this stuff down, talk to somebody you like, read something funny, have a glass of wine and relax and not be, I think at least for me, it makes me a little crazy. So, vote, get out there, do the right thing and just try to separate from it a little bit. Cause I know the tensions are high. I know that we're all fighting with our family members and our significant others. This is certainly the most important election in my lifetime and maybe in any lifetime. So just, we're proud of you guys. You guys have all been tagging us in your voting stuff. You've been showing us your stickers and your everything. We're so proud of you guys and this audience. Please continue to do that. Let us know what you're doing on election day. And we hope that the right candidate wins, and that's Joe Biden.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I want to just be honest about how I'm feeling. I feel like my prediction is that deep in my heart, I feel that Joe Biden is going to win. And I think that it's going to be a long road to the current president accepting that. And I think we may be in for some unrest in this country. But I am aware there is another outcome, and I don't know that I can say I'm prepared. I don't know if any of us are fully prepared for what a Trump reelection would look like. But I am aware, and I didn't really feel that way in 2016. I was that naive, cocky person, like Hillary's got this, no way in hell Trump's going to win. And it really hit me like a ton of bricks. I did not handle it well. So I at least feel more prepared this time around, but it's also so devastating that we have to be prepared for something like this. But yeah, so all that being said, we will
dive into it more next week. We're going to see what happens. But like, I just want to really validate anybody that's like, I'm scared, I'm anxious. We don't know what's going to happen. We think we do, but we don't. We didn't know before. You never know.
I thought I knew 4 years ago, and I remember going to sleep that night. It was so arrogant. I was like, I can go to sleep at 10:30 at night, and no big deal. And I woke up to a world that I just never expected to wake up to. And I remember calling my dad. I was crying, and I didn't go to work, and I got on the subway, and everyone in New York was crying on the trains. And I just think that at least now I want to feel like I have a little more control over the future, and we all do. And we've seen record voting. You know, we've seen more people vote. We've had 85 million people vote as of yesterday when we were recording. Early vote. So it is really amazing and astounding. And that gives me hope that people want change.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. You know, we have to just brace and just hope for the best.
Yeah. So we'll just wrap it up there and talk to you guys about it next week. Honestly, I mean, we're going to break it down. So we don't know, what the tone will be. We're going to keep it positive still. And if, kind of assess what we feel like people are feeling next week and talk about some coping mechanisms, whatever the state of the world may be, maybe that'll be celebratory, whatever it is, we will talk about it more in depth next week. So we'll see. We'll see you on the other side.
Ashley and I might be living on her parents' farm at the end of this, but I do feel confident that it'll be a few weeks before we get a winner anyways. So, we'll have lots of weeks to think about this and talk about this. We'll talk to you about it next week, guys. But good luck out there.
Yeah. Make sure you voted. There were still people. I mean, it's crazy because like everybody I know has voted. It's still funny. It's still election days tomorrow. Like as this episode comes out, tomorrow is actually election day, and everybody I know did it.
Yeah.
So you guys know that Ashley and I love to travel. We do it all the time, professionally and socially. And it is really, really important to me to have the best luggage possible, both functionally and just the way it looks. And Base is my absolute favorite. I have everything that they do. I have their check-in bags. I have their carry-on. I have their mini weekender, but I just got their newest bag. I am so obsessed. It's the East to West tote, and it is the absolute perfect bag for like a 1 to 3 day trip. And I just took it with me to Santa Barbara, and it was just perfect for like a few dinner outfits, a couple daytime stuff. I had a padded laptop sleeve, a place for a water bottle, zipper pockets, and there's like an extra removable strap. Also, I just think it's really beautiful. I got it in the beige color, but all of Base's stuff comes in lots of colors. It's highly functional. Outside of this bag, which I am crazy about, their luggage has 360-degree gliding wheels, a cushioned handle, which I love when I'm at the airport, built-in weight indicator, and I always say this, I love their washable bags. So a great travel hack is to just have like a laundry bag in your suitcase. They provide that for you too. It's so cute. Everything they do is super durable and beautiful and functional. I just can't say enough about Base. I love them. And right now, Base is offering our listeners 15% off your first purchase by visiting basetravel.com/GGE. That's BEIS travel.com/GGE.
Okay, thank you to Helix for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Go to helixsleep.com/GGE, take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. Use code HelixPartner20 and you'll get 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows. You guys know how obsessed we are with Helix. Both of us have multiple Helix mattresses. It's all we sleep on. I have made sure that my parents have one, my brother has one, my boyfriend has one. I just refuse to go anywhere and not sleep on a Helix mattress. That is how obsessed we are. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, including the award-winning Luxe Collection, which we love. We have the Luxe Collection mattresses, the newly released Helix Elite Collection, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress made just for kids. So for everyone in the family, and you're just going to take their quiz, which is really fun, and then they will give you your personalized mattress recommendation. It's going to be shipped straight to your door, free of charge. You can try it out for 100 nights to make sure you love it, and then there's a 10 to 15-year warranty to try out your new Helix mattress. We know everybody sleeps differently. You might sleep on your back, your side, roll around all night on your stomach, or you might want a soft, medium, or firm mattress. We are all so different. So that is why they offer really something for everyone. And so you're just going to order what works best for you, come straight to your door. You can sleep on it that night. You're going to love it. It will change your life. You'll get the best sleep of your life, and you can thank us later. So Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/GGE and use code HelixPartner20. This is their best offer with Helix. Better sleep starts now.
All right, guys, we have a very special guest with us in the house studio today. She is a pop culture expert. She has worked for TMZ, The Insider, Access Live, VH1's Love and Hip Hop, and E! Live from the Red Carpet. She is currently the co-host of E's Nightly Pop and Dating No Filter. Please welcome to the show, Nina Parker.
Hello, hello.
Hi. That is a long resume.
I know.
I was like, have I accomplished anything?
I appreciate it. I'm like, I have done some things.
Where's your book and your movie? No, I'm just kidding.
Right. It's coming.
Do you get stopped a lot on the street? Like, do people, because I feel like at this point, whether you're a religious watcher of a show that you do, you just know your face. Like, I feel like, do you get a lot of like, where do I know you from?
I do get recognized a lot. A lot of people recognize me from my voice, which I don't think my voice is distinctive, but I will literally be in a store and maybe I'm talking to a friend and someone will turn around and they'll know me from my voice, which I don't feel like it's especially different, but I get recognized by my voice a lot, which is so funny. And I've been recognized with my mask on, which freaks me out because I'm like, I don't think I'm that noticeable. But I was in the store a couple weeks ago and I looked great. Like, it's always when you look crazy. Yeah. Like, I was like, I'm gonna just run in here and get like 3 things. My hair was like on a lopsided bun. I had like, sweat stains on my sweats with like coffee on it. I was like, I'm gonna just run in here. And this girl was like, Nina Parker. And I was like, oh my God.
You were like, you have me mistaken for someone else. That's not me, bitch. Get out of here.
Like, who is that? She said my whole government name. I was like, who is my auntie? Who is this woman?
It's like your Christian name.
Yeah. So it is interesting. But yeah, people love their entertainment show. So I guess that's just comes with it.
You could have fooled me. You look so polished and put together. You got your fancy coffee cup. I don't believe that you ever
I filmed
like
this morning. So trust and believe, if I would have done my own hair and makeup, it would have been a whole different situation.
Well, I just love that we got the fancy mug. Like, if I'm drinking,
I have two glass mugs. That's it. Everything else has faded writing and missing handles. So yeah, I brought my fancy mug.
I feel honored. This was a free glass from a brewery. That's my glassware, just free.
I got this recycled water bottle out of the basement.
It is a good catcher. Like, I had some friends over and there was a guy and I made him coffee and he was like, this is really nice. And he was asking me where I got it. So I feel like it's like kind of a man catcher.
Okay.
Like, very visual.
Write that down. First tip of the interview.
Yes. They like the pretty coffee mugs.
They feel like you can take care of them. Like, you can be their mom.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Well, let's start there. You give amazing dating advice, critiques, all this stuff. Do you want to talk about?
I don't know if I give amazing.
All right, let's back up. Why don't you,
Brandon, you give dating advice?
I don't really. I just tell people that they're acting crazy. I don't know if it's advice as much of a talking to. I'm like that person that's going to be the one who tells you you're acting a fool. So I don't know. You can take advice if you want to. But if more so, with Dating No Filter, we're just observing. So it's not always the most healthy advice in the world. It's more observations. I would never call myself a dating expert. I would say I am a dating expert in observation.
Well, that's what you need sometimes, just someone on the outside. Because when you're in it, you don't know that you're acting crazy. You're like, I'm killing it. And then you need those people watching from
mainly the men too, because they always think they're killing it. They always think they're killing it. They think they're killing it when they send you unsolicited pictures. They think they're killing it always. They're the ones who need the reality check the most.
In Ashley and my marriage, she is the one that's like, bitch, you're acting a fool. I sent her a text the other day. I was like, I'm going to send this to this guy. And she was like, is this just for me, or are you going to actually send this to a person that has
was this just you brainstorming, or is this complete? Are you ready to roll with it? Because it needs a lot of work. We're going to have to redline this.
I'm the same way. I have a best friend who I call her like my reality checkers, because I'm always like, is this crazy? Most of the time she says yes. So, but you need that.
Oh, yeah. I think tons of stuff is a good idea. And then even a week later, I read it and I'm like, maybe I should have waited an hour.
Totally. I'm a very impulse sender as well. Like, when I'm texting and things, I'm impulse. And then I'm like, oh, I should have waited. Okay, I'm a hothead sometimes. So I'll just be like, I'm going to just say what I got to say. And then later I'm like, oh, I should have done that.
Well, you're like on drugs. When you're heated or like,
yes,
like it's your brain isn't even
crazy.
Yeah, it's just nuts. It's not even the same person. But we jumped in like a little too heavy. But we want to back up and talk about you and kind of your career. I mean, we're going to get into all the dating stuff, and we have our listeners submitted some stuff from their dating app profiles. We asked them. We'll get to it, but are you proud or is this a cry for help? And so we'll read some of those for you.
I love it.
But you have obviously such an impressive resume, and I don't know. I read some articles on you. I'm super familiar with your work. You seem like you have a little bit of like a started from the bottom story. Like, where did you work? You were like working in a call center, right?
Yeah.
Like, how did you get? I mean, it's a long road. You don't need to tell us your whole life story, but like, I think it's super inspiring. Like, how did you get to where you?
God and a blessing and a prayer. Mm-hmm. It's crazy because I did go to school for broadcasting. So I did go to school for broadcasting. I did get my start at a local NBC in San Francisco. Shout out to Crom 4. But I kind of dropped everything to move to New York to kind of pursue my dreams in broadcasting, and didn't really know what I was doing. And kind of came back to California with my tail in between my legs because I really didn't put in the work that I probably should have. I was in my early 20s and really arrogant and just thought and I did really have the skill. I just think that I didn't have the experience, nor did I have like the wherewithal to hustle the way that I probably should have hustled. What kind of helped groom me to get that hustle was getting a regular job. And when I say regular, I just mean out of my career. Like, it wasn't what I went to school for. It was just kind of like, this is a 9 to 5 that I'm going to do. So I started that at a call center, and it was only supposed to be a year, and it ended up being like 4 years, and I was just extremely miserable. And my mom was just like, you don't need to keep doing this. Like, you could just leave, you could quit. And I did. So we came to LA one weekend, and I found a place to live, and I just started hustling the way I didn't before, and ended up landing a job at TMZ as like super bottom, at that point, I was in my late 20s, and I was just like, I don't know if this is going to happen, because in your 20s, you're so judgmental about, you think you're supposed to be somewhere, and you're just like, there's no roadmap. Like, late 20s is really young, but a lot of times we're conditioned to think, especially as women, like by the time we're in our late 20s, we have to be married, we have to be, ready for the kid, and our career has to be solidified. So I was really beating myself up, and I was only 27, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I just started hustling and found a little place to live, and just started working, and ended up landing a job as a PA at TMZ. And that's really kind of how my career started. I wasn't even trying to be on air, but they just heard me being crazy in the background and talking shit about whatever. And they were like, well, we have this show that we're doing. We want you to be on the pilot. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And they basically forced me to do it. And it just kind of kickstarted my career in TV.
Oh, wow. So you were forced onto the screen.
I wanted to be at one point. And when I moved to LA, it was like every girl, like you live in LA and you turn on the local weather, and the weather girls looked like Playboy bunnies. Like they looked, and you're just like, this is just the local station. Just like,
local affiliate.
Like LA and Riverside. Like, what is going on? Like, why do they look like this? Because, I'm from the Bay, and they look like, your auntie. Yeah. But in LA, it was like a whole different ballgame. So I was like, this is not, I'm a plus size woman. I was like, this is not the world I even wanted to be in. I was like, this is too much. But the one thing that I did like was that, the show that I was on was more alternative. It was more real. It wasn't like glitz and glamour. And that allowed me to really shine, because that's not really what they were looking for. So when they say there's a lane for everybody, there really is. And it just allowed me to really just be myself, look the way I look, and people really resonated with that. And I think that's really at that time is when the trajectory of everything in entertainment started to change, where people started to look for more substance as opposed to like, just read what's on the prompter in your pretty dress.
Right. I love that. I just love everything you said. I also love this. Like, I feel like at 27, I could barely pay my rent. And I was like, what am I doing? I was like, going in the right direction, sort of. But you look around and your friends, like my friends from college, had 401ks and homes. And I was just like, am I late? Am I running late on life?
And it's just like, and there are people, I have a friend of mine who's just finishing law school, and she was in her 40s, and she just decided that she wanted to be a lawyer one day and started a whole new career. And so I don't think that our life, God willing, is going to be long. And, you can have multiple careers over a span of a lifetime if that's what you so choose to do. And there's really no one who can tell you what you need to be doing at what age, especially because there are certain people given resources that we don't always have. So I just, to my ladies especially, I'm like, do not, if your only deterring factor is like, I'm too old or, I should be here right now, then that's not an excuse, because people are out here getting it at any age.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think that just because you look around and you see people, I guess we'll keep using the age 27, people that are 27 that have a house, that have a husband, that have a kid, that seem to figure it out financially or career-wise, that doesn't mean that all that stuff can't go away tomorrow. People start over all the time. And yeah, I'm the same as Ashley. I didn't really hit my stride until my late 20s. And I think that it's weird to look around and be like, well, that one person has something. It's like, who cares?
And it's, it's an Instagram culture too, of everybody has to be perfect. And that's why, before we started this interview, I was like, I'm pretty much an open book. I'm pretty transparent just because I feel like there's just such a lack of that, especially in entertainment. Like, I feel like there is this need to be perfect. And I honestly think that's one of the reasons why, and as much as people talk shit about the Kardashians, I think that's why they have so much longevity, is because they show everything, whether it's being cheated on, whether, it's losing an endorsement deal, whether it's, a divorce, whatever. I feel like, even though people like to hate watch it, it's still like it's so often we've been conditioned on TV, there's only a certain type of lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So I think people resonate with just seeing flaws these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you feel like, you look and you could just be like, absolutely not, fuck no. But do you feel like you looked around at those other girls on those news stations that were like Playboy bunnies and it made you not apply for certain jobs? Or
I've never not applied. So I've always just had this feeling of just like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, it's been, even when I was working in the call center, I would be telling the person, the cubicle next to me is this guy. And I would say they had the computers there were locked so you couldn't see anything on the internet, but we could get CNN. So I would be on CNN Entertainment all the time because it was the only thing we could get on the computer. And I would be reading stuff and I'd be telling him I'm going to be reporting on this stuff one day. I got my degree in this. And he would be like, girl, whatever. He would tell me all the time, yeah, right. You've been here for 2 years. And he would, but it helped fuel me. Because even then I was like, I know I'm supposed to be doing something else. I'm not doing it right now. But when I go to bed, when I wake up, I'm always thinking about this thing. I'm going to make this happen. It just was more of a matter of when I was ready to really have that real confidence in myself. But if anything I've ever wanted, I've applied for, even if I didn't get it, because I was just like, somebody going to say yes. I just knew I was like, somebody is going to see me for me. It's not this facade. Somebody's going to see it and they're going to want it. And it's just a matter of time. I just always believe that.
I think it's so important that you look into a field where you're on TV or you're on whatever you're on, and you were like, nobody really looks like me, whatever that may be. And that's exactly why I should be doing this. You know what I mean? There's a hole here.
It's rough when you're one of the first, you know what I mean? Because there were older Black women who were doing television broadcasting, somebody like Oprah, but there weren't to me, a lot of young, thick Black women, that were doing entertainment reporting. Entertainment reporting to me was always reserved for the 00 women,
Juliana, and no shade, but
movie stars. I was but also I never felt like I was getting the real from anybody. Everything was perfect. Hollywood was perfect. They were perfect. Everybody looked perfect, perched perfect. And I was like, why is nobody talking about how much Spanx hurt? Why is nobody talking about what they eaten after the award show? Where are these conversations? Because that's what I talk about with my girlfriends, And so I just decided that if I was going to do this, I was going to do it in a way where I felt like real women could relate to me.
You're so right. It's why do these conversations have to be so milquetoast all the time?
Right.
Well, and that's why people go crazy for Jennifer Lawrence when she says one thing, or, anybody on the red carpet, that is kind of in that box when they say something crazy. They just said what they did that day. They just admitted that they had a slice of pizza and the whole world is like, oh my God, they're so real.
Yeah. And also just representation as well, because sometimes when you're at these award shows, for me as a Black woman, there are people who've been famous. For me, Taraji P. Henson before Empire, before all of that. I knew her from Baby Boy. You know what I mean? When she was in the John Singleton movie. But there were a lot of people who didn't know about her. So to be in an award show a few years ago and nobody would stop and talk to someone like her, to me, she's A-list. To me, that's like, this is an A-list. But even 5-10 years ago, when people were like, who's that? She was A-list to me and to people in my community. And so to be able to be on that carpet or show and say this is important to include was a really big deal too, because it wasn't always that it was intentional omissions. Sometimes people really just genuinely didn't know, and help educate that as well. So the next time, even if I'm not there, you guys are going to know who this is so she can be represented for other people too.
It's so important.
I forgot about Baby Boy. That is
I know, me too.
I saw it in the theater.
Baby Boy in the conversation.
No, I saw it in the theater. I want to be clear. I remember seeing it in the theater, but like big Tyrese fan.
Movie.
I forgot. Yeah, it's a classic.
Okay, but we want to move on and talk about Dating No Filter, which Nina, you star on the show. And just so you guys know, for watching Dating No Filter, season 2 is coming back Wednesday, November 18th on E! At 10 p.m. Eastern time. So we just got to plug it. But yeah, I mean, Raina, we can't get enough of the show.
Basically, you watch people on dates and then you just do the commentary roasting them, which is that's mine and Ashley's dream. And we want you to, we'll talk about like what people are doing right on dates, wrong on dates, things that you see that you're like, no, don't stop, please stop this. So we'd love your expertise in that. But if you want to just talk about the show for people that have never seen it.
Yeah. So basically Dating No Filter and this was all done pre-COVID. So it's going into, I guess this would be the 3rd season of it. So when we filmed it, they kind of like they first film all of the dates. So all of the dates get filmed. I think it's probably like 20 different dates. And then they build a set and then you come on and it's 6 comedians, 2 to a couch. We sit on these couches and we watch our reactions to the dating. So it's almost like you're kind of chilling at home and, just as if you guys were at home, what you would be screaming at the TV. That's what we do. It's supposed to be 6 comedians. It's really 5 because I'm not a comedian, but they put me on the show anyway.
You're funny. You're a comedian.
Yeah. I'm comedian adjacent, and so they put me on the show with another comedian. My couchmate is Kara. She's really funny. And we just kind of watch these dates and talk about it. People seem to love it. It's something that's, you can really binge. You can catch the older episodes on demand if you kind of want to catch up. But yeah, it's fun. It's lighthearted. It's not centered around celebrities. It's just regular people trying to, find love.
And then they are like, it's blind, right? It's a blind first date. Okay.
Yes, it's a blind date.
Okay.
Some of them go left. A lot of them can go left. There are some love connections, but it's like, it's kind of rare this day with social media for things to be blind. And so they can't stalk the person's social medias before, go creeping and try to find, like you meet for the first time on the date and we see it.
Do you think it's pretty rare that these days? I mean, I had one of my guy friend run a background check most of the time, and then because he is he has some sort of program, and I'm like,
usually the one doing the background checks. My girls are like, "Girl, can you find him? Find out his situation." Like I'm that person.
I know. The whole time I'm on a date, I'm like, please don't bring up a thing that you're not supposed to know. Please don't bring up this thing that you should not have from 2016. So you see people do this. Are you picking the locations they go on their first date?
I am not. No, okay. I think production does. So they pick, usually what it is they meet, they have an activity first. Okay. So they'll do zip lining or they'll do painting or something like that. They'll have an activity. And then after the activity, they go out to eat.
Zip lining is like too much for me for a first date. I'm not trying to be in a harness. If I'm in a harness, something has gone wrong.
One person will pick the activity and then the other person will pick like the dinner. So sometimes the person picking the activity is like, we're going to go, build a house on the beach. And the other person's like, what? Like, so that's how you see some of the conflict because they're like, this is not my thing. Like, they shut down. So that's part of the fun of the show too.
Yeah. I don't want to build a house on a first date.
I don't want to do that much manual labor on a first date.
Okay, so I love gift giving at this time of year, but when finding great gifts, things can really start to add up. And that's why this season I am shopping with Quince. Quince is the go-to place for luxury essentials at affordable prices for everyone on my list, including myself. We'd like to thank Quince for supporting our show. Go to quince.com/GGE to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your order. So I'm really, really glad I found this company and this site. Everything is so affordable but looks really luxury. So as you're perusing it, they have 100% Mongolian cashmere sweaters. They have washable silk tops and dresses. They have cotton sweaters and all kinds of comfy stuff, like just cozy pants that you can wear. I love the colors. I love the styles, but the prices are really the reason to shop here, on top of obviously the selection. Prices are 50 to 80% less than similar brands. So it's unbelievable. It partners directly with top factories to cut out the cost of the middleman, and it just passes the savings directly on to you from Quince. And I just love what they're doing. I love the styles. There's so much variety, and it is such a one-stop shop, whether you're shopping for kids, you're a significant other, your parents, anybody will really love this. You can get affordable luxury for everyone on your list with Quince. Go to quince.com/GGE to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your order. That's QUINCE.com/GGE for free shipping and 365-day returns. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp Therapy Online. For 10% off your first month, go to betterhelp.com/GGE. So we all carry around different stressors, big and small, throughout life. And when we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us really negatively. And therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and figure out how to work through whatever is weighing you down. And sometimes we can have journals and self-talk and friends and family that help us, but it is really, really helpful to talk to a therapist outside of that, and they can empower you to be a better version of yourself and set boundaries and work through whatever is going on with you personally, professionally, in your love life, with friends. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. So you'll just fill out a brief questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists anytime at no additional charge. I absolutely love what they're doing, and they make it so simple. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/GGE today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/GGE.
Yeah. So do you feel like there are common themes, and not necessarily activities? Because I mean, again, this is a show and it's been produced, and not everybody has that luxury to be like, let me pick our ziplining and then you pick a restaurant. Like, I mean, most people these days are going out for a first date to drinks, coffee, you know, whatever maybe. But in terms of like conversation, like what do you see stuff across the board that goes very wrong or goes right?
You know, the one thing that I've been seeing on dates is usually like asking the person's opinion of you too soon. We'll be watching these dates and they'll say they did the activity and then they go to dinner, and right when they sit down to dinner, somebody will be like, so what do you think of me? What did you think when you first met me? And I'm like, boo-boo, they're still just first meeting you. Like, you've only known each other an hour or two. Like, this is still part of it. So you asking this question makes you kind of weird. So I just, you know, like, the first impression ask, which really is just a little narcissistic, because you just kind of really are asking them if they think you're attractive. That's really what you want to know. So I think any types of questions that it looks like you're fishing or trying to get some type of security from that person that you don't know, that's a turn off for me. Like you, whatever they think shouldn't matter. Like, your confidence should not be coming from someone else. That got to come from you.
Right. Absolutely. I've known people for really years and never asked, what do you think about me?
I can give a damn what your first impression is of me.
Right.
That's on you. That's, you know, who knows what you're projecting that day. If you're in a good mood, a bad mood, you know what I mean? Like, I can't control that. I don't care. Truly do not.
That's so true. Also, it can change. Like, I don't know. I've like fallen in love with guys at the first time I met him. I was like, ew, no, never. I would never. And then it's like, they break you down. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, that's just not even a question I feel like you should be asking. Maybe once you've been in a relationship and you guys are having a fun night out, you could ask each other that, or you can say, you know, when I first met you, this is how I feel. But brand new, I feel like I don't even know someone at 6 months. Like, it takes time.
I like that also. You kind of like, there's some moments sometimes where I'm on a date and I'll sort of catalog it and say to myself, like, if we're still together in a few months, I'll tell them this thing that like I thought of like the first time we met. And I think that's like a special thing to just save it.
Absolutely. But you save it, you know, tell your girl, tell your friend, like, oh, there are some things I think that should be reserved to geek out with with your friends that this person doesn't necessarily need to hear very early on. And because things can always be misconstrued. So I'm a big play it close to your chest type of person in general, though. Like, I'm generally more like, I don't give everything on when I'm dating. Like, I don't give it all at once. Like, I don't tell you everything at once. Like, and I don't expect everything. I just feel like I'm more of a gradual get to know her as opposed to what's your favorite color? What do you like? Like, that's just not, I don't feel like that's how you really get to know somebody.
We talked about this too. Like, there's a time to exit and like leave on a good note, and don't drink too much, because that's when you start saying all that crazy stuff. Like, that's when you're like, when I first saw you, and then it's just like
right. And sometimes it works. Like, I feel like we all know what a vibe is. We all know what it feels like when you're vibing with someone. And so I feel like if it calls for it, and you guys are drinking and you're vibing, and because I don't really believe in. I feel like your pace is something the two of you decide. So, you can meet somebody and get married next weekend. If that's your pace that you both have agreed upon, that's not too fast for me. Like, that's up to you. For me personally, I couldn't do it, but like, I don't judge anybody else's progress, because I feel like connections are the individual's own thing.
I like this thing that you were saying about like not, you didn't use this term, but not interviewing a person, not saying like, what's your favorite color and what's your favorite thing to eat. And Ashley and I have talked about some interactions on the show before that we've had with guys where like we spent hours with somebody and we never ask those questions. And it's just nice to just enjoy somebody's vibe. And you still are sort of playing it close to the chest, because you're not offering all this information about yourself. And, I have struggled with that, with like, giving it all up. Like, I wish I was a little more private, and I do have to think about that. But I think keeping it a little lighter in the beginning is a good way to do that. And so you're not hitting all these like hard,
and it's hard. You talk for a living, like you have, so it's like, it's natural for you to just talk about things and give opinions. And I think it's natural, but I also like kind of like the exploration of like another person. Like, I'm a really big observer when it comes, especially like with men. Like, I just believe a lot of times they show you better than they can tell you. So I'm very big on actions, movement, body language, what they're doing to their phone, how they sit the phone up, down, like, that kind of stuff I pay attention to. To me, knowing what your favorite color is does not mean that they're a good person and won't cheat on you. So I need to,
100%.
I need a conversation. I could give a damn about favorite colors and where they went to school.
Who cares? You could have this whole list of somebody.
Yes.
I dated somebody like that for quite a while. And I remember feeling like, I feel like I'm this person's secretary. Like, I know this list of things that they do all day long.
Totally.
And I know where they went to college and what their mom does for a living. But like, I don't really know this person on a deep level. Who cares if you know that stuff?
And the only time you really can, and of course it's COVID, so it's harder, but it's to like interact with them, be out, like see how they treat the waitress. Like that kind of stuff is really important. You know what I mean? So I feel like it just, something like that it just takes time. And, I'm still learning, because I just got out of a 7-year relationship. Like and it's been like a year single. So it's just been like a whole new experience for me, because so much has changed since I was dating before. So it's like a whole new crazy ass world that I'm in with everybody else. When I filmed the show, I think I was still in a relationship.
Can we don't need to like get into like the deep heavy stuff of your breakup, but I'd love to talk about, if you're open to it, like how do you get it back out there after being with somebody for 7 years?
I think it depends on the breakup. I think if you were like cheated on and it was like this really devastating break, I think all that breakups can be devastating if you love the person. So I think it's a couple of things. If it was a devastating breakup, or like say you woke up on Monday, you found out he was cheating Tuesday, and Wednesday you were single. That's a really difficult breakup, because it's like you didn't see it coming. And so you're just kind of like your life got ripped and you didn't know about it. With my situation, it was more, I was unhappy for a while, and I just I hadn't really told the truth to myself that it was over. But once I realized I wanted it to be over, not that it didn't hurt me, because obviously that was my friend, but I knew that there was not going to be any type of future with that. Like, as a woman, we kind of come to these resolutions on our own. When we tell a man what we want, what we need over and over and over again, and we don't get these needs met, we start to emotionally disconnect, and we start to imagine our lives with someone else or not with that person. So when the actual breakup comes, we've kind of already made our decision. Like, I'm out. Like, I've tried, because we'll work it out. We'll do whatever we can to try to make it work, try to express it, have a conversation. Once we see it's a dead end, I think we start to emotionally pull away, disconnect. And there's that saying that women break up with men like 6 months before the actual breakup. So when the breakup happens, you're very certain. And so for me, that's kind of what it was. Like I tried everything to make it work. And then for me, I kind of made the break. And so when I broke, I was sad that it was an end to a chapter, but I was really kind of excited to begin my life because I had just only known this person for so long. So I just did a lot of, I did a lot of soul searching. And then COVID happened. And so it really forced me to sit. I know it was a lot going on, but it really forced me to sit with myself, my accountability. I think the big thing is taking the focus off of them and putting it on you. Because so many times in breakups, we always say, well, he was no good, or he was selfish, or he did this to me. He, and I'm like, but what about you though? Like, what did you do to enable this? What did you do can you be accountable for the things that you contributed to the relationship, and then be accountable for your own healing and not focusing on what they're doing? Because now they're gone. So whatever they did is done. But what can you do to accept what happened and move forward from it so that you're not the same person in your next relationship, because you don't want to be back here again. And so I think for me, every time I started to think of and blame him for the demise of the relationship, I use that energy this time, because we had broken up before, but this time I use that energy to work on me and think about me. I really didn't think about him at all, because every time my brain went that way, I was like, let me bring this back to me, because I'm tired of him. I'm not investing any more energy into somebody who's not in my life.
Sure. And we've said you can ask yourself a million questions about why somebody did a thing, left you, didn't behave a certain way, but it doesn't matter once they're gone. Like, what's the difference? Are you, you feel free to not answer this. Are you in therapy? Because that was an incredibly therapeutic response.
I know. I was like, I didn't know we were going to go down that road.
I believe in therapy. In the Black community, sometimes it's shunned upon. It's like, you just need to go to church. I believe in church and therapy. You can pray some things away, but I think there's to me, like, I'm a venter, like by nature. I get over things by venting. And so I did not want to always burden my friends with needing to vent. When I first started therapy, I was going twice a week, and it was extremely helpful. And it helped ease the burden on my friends so they didn't have to hear me complaining all the time. And it helped me realize what was normal, because there were certain behaviors that I was like, maybe I'm wrong for feeling like this. Maybe I shouldn't feel like this. I would beat myself up for having human emotions. And my therapist would just be like, girl, you're not crazy. This is normal. And I could still feel my feeling and not feel guilty on top of it, because I think a lot of times we have emotions and then we beat ourselves up like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I cried over this person, or I can't believe I'm missing someone that I broke up with, or we really judge ourselves. And she was like, girl, you're fine. This is how you're supposed to be. This is what's normal. She was like, if you weren't doing this, I'd be worried. So then that really empowered me to feel my feelings, which I think men avoid. So that's why I feel like your exes always come back 7 months later, because they are just now finally dealing with something that they've been putting on a shelf months after months. But I feel like women, we just kind of dive in and start dealing with the pain, crying to our girlfriends, watching the movies, eating the bonbons on the couch, and dealing with it, as opposed to like putting our feelings on the shelf.
Absolutely. It's proven. It's like women they start right away. They start like day one after the breakup, like, let's heal. Let's get it out first.
I made my therapy appointment quick, girl. I was like, let me call her and see what's up. And for a couple months, I went twice a week. And now it's to the point where I only do it like once a month, just kind of like a check-in. I feel like I'm probably mentally in the best place I've ever been. I'm in my 40s now. So, I
was like, oh,
yes, girl.
Fuck you. Okay. Fuck you for looking like that.
Well, girl, this black don't crack, honey. It's something to look like this time, 82.
She could be like, I'm 82. I'd be like, all right, I believe it. Like, you could be 20 or 80. So you look amazing.
I will say, the 20-year-olds still crawl into them DMs. So
you should fuck the 20-year-olds. No, get up in there.
I kid you not. Like, it's so funny. Men in their 20s have been hitting on me more than men my age for like the last few months. I've been like, what are you doing here? Like, get out of here.
They really
mid-20 men are on it. It's crazy.
It's like I cannot get away from these 26, 27-year-olds. That's just like all who hit on me, all who want to stay me. I'm like, fine. Right. I just like leaned into it.
Right. And maybe because I don't want them. I don't know if it's just like, I'm like, I like a salt and pepper man. Like, I like that. That's sexy. But I'll be getting these little young TikTokers and shit. I'm like, what are you doing here? There's an age limit. I need need you to go.
I don't know. I would recommend it. Ashley and I like to fuck younger guys.
I do catch myself sometimes on TikTok. They'll do a TikTok and I'm like, damn, this guy's hot. And then the end is like, and I'm 16. I'm like, I'm out. I'm going to bed. I can't.
It's so weird. You know what I think it is? Like I said, I've come into this really big place of just peace and just confidence and I think maybe that's what's attracting them. I have no idea. Also I'm not pressed. Like I'm single, but I'm just not pressed. I'm dating, but I'm not in a rush to be in a relationship. I'm just kind of like go with the flow, but I'm very clear in what I want. And so I don't know if that just attracts men or attracts confident men or what, but it's been insane. It's just been like, I've just not had a problem meeting men at all, even though it's been quarantine.
Okay, go off. Go on.
I think when you're moving in a place as a woman where you're trying to be the best version of yourself, you attract like good things to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing like a woman who knows what she wants to do, knows what she wants. And even if she doesn't have it, she's making those moves to get it. I feel like people, feel that energy off of you when you're walking around.
Those cocky little TikTokers feel that energy.
Hey, girl, listen, they trying to get you in these little dances, honey.
If I log on to TikTok and it's just Dina and like 10, like 20-year-olds.
At the TikTok house, girl, call for help. Please call for help because I've lost it.
What is it called?
I want to go there. I want to go to the TikTok
or whatever.
Yes, I want to go to the TikTok house, or maybe we start our own house.
I did have like a little fling with like a guy in his 20s, and
here we go. Let's talk. It
was fun. It was fun, but he was just so young. I was just like, I can't like. I wanted to like counsel him. You know what I mean? I was just like, so what are you going to do with like, it was just like, I got to get out of this mode.
You wrote his resume and cover letter for him?
Yeah.
Maybe are we talking 21? Or are we talking 29? Like how 20?
7,
Mm-hmm.
But that's young to me.
Every 26-year-old I fucked, which is a number of them, could fuck. It's weird. I don't know. They're learning.
Girl. They have stamina.
But they're like learning like, I don't know. Like, I mean, they probably were brought up in a little too much porn, but like they know what to do. Like,
and they love I will say, like, I was very, in my 20s, I wasn't like leading with like my sexual prowess. You know what I mean? I knew I had it, but I was scared that it would look a certain way. My age now, I could give a shit what it looks like to a man. I could care less what I present to you, how it looks to you. Like, does he think I'm this? Oh my gosh, I'm afraid he's going to think I'm too pushy, I'm too loud. My thing now is like kind of get with it or get lost. Like, this is who I am. Sometimes I'm a little loud. Sometimes I got a foul mouth. This is like who I am to the world. You're more than welcome to pass. I'm going to be here regardless, and I'm going to be thriving regardless. So that's on you.
Well, I'd love to like kind of tie this back into like the stuff you see on Dating No Filter, because I feel like probably a large issue that a lot of women and men run into is that feeling of insecurity that kind of takes over, right?
Yeah.
Like whether it's your body language or the questions you're asking and things like that. I mean, that kind of comes from within. I don't know if there's any advice to really give there, but
I think that to be insecure with a new person, especially like if it's someone that you find, like a lot of them, they come and there's always one that might be a little hotter or, you know what I mean? So I think, it may not be the guy or the girl or the other person, but I feel like it's natural to have a little bit of hesitation, especially if you're like, oh my gosh, this guy is so hot. Like he's got, 6-pack abs and I got a little fupa. Like, is he going to like that? Like, I think it's natural to be like that. But I think ultimately, like, there's nothing you can do to like make someone like you. They're going to like you or they're not. Like, I think when you get caught up in this pattern of like trying to be attractive to them or trying to say things that please them, it falls flat. And we've seen it on the show where, someone kind of starts to adjust their behavior after they start drinking to look sexy or do things. And the guy is like, what's happening? Like, she was so cool at the activity. And at dinner, she started doing all of this dancing. And he was like, it just got weird. I think most of the time people can see when you're not being sincere. So I feel like if you awkward, own your awkward. Like if you loud, own it. Like I feel like we can't really hide who we are for long.
You think people try to lean into this persona of like cool, fun girl and they're like dancing, which if that's you, then go off. That's not me. That would be totally inauthentic for me to be like up and dancing and being this like quirky girl on a date. That's not me. Like, I'm not like that. I couldn't even
imagine going on a date and just start randomly dancing. Like, I would laugh at myself. Like, what girl, if you don't sit down, like I am the most rhythmless Black person, like, I'm like, this is not, my friends would be like, bitch, stop it. But, and in my mind, sometimes I hear my friends on my dates. So I'm just like, okay, like I'm being a little extra, because I think it's natural, but it's just so funny because you see kind of people put on the bravado and it does make the show super entertaining, but
it's TV.
You also see everybody's insecure at some point. You see these people who are 10s acting insecure and you're like, you know what? We all have this same thing, and so it kind of helps level the playing field a little bit.
I love that you brought up this example of like, he's got a 6-pack and I have this like little fupa, like that will like run on a loop in your head if you don't stop, if you don't like stop it, you know what I mean? And probably vice versa. Maybe a guy's like, oh, she's super fit and I got this dad bod, but don't get me started on like double standards. But I just think that's like the self-talk and the working on yourself, because those thoughts will just like run on a loop. And then you're just like this really insecure, like not great version of yourself. And then he doesn't like you because the fupa doesn't like you because of your personality.
I just want to say to my ladies, you'll be surprised how many men love a fupa, honey. I didn't know because I had been in a relationship, but when I came out that thing, my DMs was lit the fuck up. Okay. They were like, boom, 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 boom. Like it was not, I was just like, oh, because, I was like, I'm gonna get out this relationship. I'm gonna lose this weight. I'm gonna do, and then quarantine happened. And I was like, well, that ain't gonna happen. And I will tell you right now, and, being a plus size woman, I think people think like sometimes if you're plus size, the man you date is going to be a bigger guy or whatever. Every man that has hit on me, I'm not kidding. Every man that has hit on me since I've been out of my relationship has had like amazing bodies, like the kind where you're like, he is doing too much, like almost like annoying. Like this is like,
why do you look like that?
Like, are you serious? Yeah. And they have all loved a curvy woman. So if I would have known then what I know now, I wouldn't have been killing myself when trying to, and you do it for yourself, but I'm just saying, don't do it because you think it'll attract them. Cause I just feel like you just never know what somebody's type is. And some people don't have a type. They just like what they like.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you show up as this very confident, authentic version of yourself, and that's what they like. And I think that everybody has a prescribed vision of what they want their partner to look like. I do, but like I've met people that I would never like swipe yes on like a dating app, and I've met them in person and found them so sexy because like I just love how they show up.
Totally. And there are certain things that are just so sexy, like confidence. I really like an alpha male. I really like men who let me know, because I'm one of those girls that I'm very friendly with people. So when people are friendly, I don't take that as flirtation. My friends say I'm my one like thing that I'm very oblivious. So they think I'm oblivious to men that like me because I'm like, oh girl, he changed my tire and drove me home because he's nice. And they're like, oh girl, he likes you. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. And they're like, he just proposed. Like, I'm just very, I'm very oblivious. A guy really has to say, girl, I like you. I want to spend time with you. Because otherwise I'm just like, he's friendly. He's just my friend. So I have a lot of that where if the guy so I need a man who's very clear on his intention, because if not, I friend zone them because I just think they're being nice.
And like Rain and I talk about this a lot between each other, like these missed connections or like the miscommunication is off. Like I think we've all been in these situations where you liked somebody or they liked you or whatever it was, and it never worked out. And then somewhere down the road, it was like, I liked you. And you're like, I liked you too. And then you're like, well, how did what went wrong here? So sometimes I just think whether I'm
a big believer on clear intentions. Yeah. And I will say, like, sometimes I do feel that like traditional role where I feel like, if I'm showing up, if I'm putting on this makeup, if I'm here, I'm gonna need you to step up, sir, and just, be like, look, girl, I'm feeling you. Because if not, I'm just gonna, it's friend zone and I'm on to the next. Like, I need to know what's going on because I just don't have time to play. So I need to know what's going on, and I need you to be clear with your intentions. And I'm gonna try to be as clear as I can with mine. But, sometimes you want to know, like, you're on the same page, and you don't always want to assume like everybody wants you. So you just want to kind of like be clear with these hints, sir.
And I think that, her and I had this long conversation last week about this. I think it's scary to be vulnerable. And I think it's scary to say to somebody, I'm feeling you. I like you. Like, I really like you. But, if you don't put yourself out there, then you might miss these people. And I yelled at this guy last week in a cute way. I was like, I like you.
Yeah, that's so cute.
Because he said, I just think that I thought that you were just like a flirty person. And I was like, why would I have spent all this time talking to you, hanging out with you? And he was like, I just thought, you host this dating podcast, you're a flirt. And I was like, I like you, and it's scary to say that to people.
It is.
You just got to hope that they feel it back. But, I feel like the worst case scenario is to never say it and never know and miss these opportunities. And that's super disappointing too.
Shoot your shot. I'm a big advocate of, especially, I feel like because 2020 has been such a mess, what's the worst that can happen? You still on your couch, Netflixing and chilling. Like you're going to be there regardless. So, I mean, it's not, you might as well say something. You might as well shoot your shot. I recently shot my shot at somebody and it worked out. And so, he was like my birthday day. I just had a birthday last week. So
happy birthday. Belated.
Thank you. And, it was a guy I had met pre-quarantine, and we met and we connected. He doesn't live in this country. And so he was supposed to be moving here and he left. I know. It's girl, my life is crazy. My best friend made this joke the other day because she was like, you have the most random stuff happening to you. If I didn't know you, I think you were a liar. Like, it's just because I don't know if I attract craziness, but it's just the most random things happen to me. And so I had met this guy at an Oscar party and we connected. We kind of had a vibe, and we were supposed to link in 2 weeks, and then quarantine happened and he couldn't come back, and it was all this stuff. And so my birthday was coming up, and initially I was going to go to Mexico. He lives in Mexico. Okay. And so we had lost contact over quarantine, and I was like, maybe I should just hit him and tell him I'll be in Mexico. And then I decided to cancel the trip, but I still text him, and he was like, that's so crazy because I'm going to be in LA that, next week we should do lunch. And we ended up having lunch. And then he was like, what are you going to do for your birthday? And I was like, and my birthday at the time was coming in 2 weeks. And I was like, I think I'm just going to have, a couple friends over. And jokingly, I was like, you should come. And he was like, okay. Mm-hmm. I was like, let me make this wax appointment. And he came. So he came. And
Did you know that the lunch was a day date? Did you know that was lunch a date, or did you think it might be platonic?
I wasn't sure.
Okay.
But I thought, okay, he made the offer to meet up. And this is the obliviousness that comes in, because I was like, well, he said he wanted to meet, and he offered to meet, because at the time I didn't even know he was coming to LA. And then we ended up spending 3 hours at the lunch. So I was like, I think that's good.
Yeah. That's a
and
date.
then he was like, I'll come back for your birthday. And so then I felt like, okay, this is more than just a platonic thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and somebody asked me to go to lunch. I'm like, are you into me, or is this just a business thing? So that's why I asked.
That's what I was, especially because LA is hard, because people connect here a lot and network.
You never know if it's just you want to pick my brain.
Totally. So you're like, is this a date, or is this potential networking situation? But we didn't talk about work at all.
So is it, you guys kind of dating? Was it
Yeah, I think we're dating now. So yeah,
okay.
It's light though, because he doesn't live here,
Right.
He doesn't live in the US. But he's a dual citizen. So right now he's choosing to stay
everything
in
is great. What better place could go back and forth between California and Mexico? It sounds like a dream. Okay.
He has invited me to Mexico, and he's planning a little trip. And so I feel I get, but it's still light, it's very we'll just see what happens. It's COVID, an election is coming. So I might be having to move down there and live with him, child. I don't know. We'll see.
But then, I just love that you said that, though. It is what better time to shoot your shot? It's shoot your shot 2020. Who cares? Oh my God, I've got to have so many questions to ask. First of all, this is an easy one. Do you get, because you're so friendly and bubbly, do you run into this a lot where guys don't know how you feel because they think you're like that with everybody? Do you find yourself kind of like what Raina said, having to be like, hey, I like you. Does the same thing happen to you?
It was funny because when I did for my birthday, I rented a yacht, and some girlfriends came on the yacht. He came, and my girlfriend was
it was that kind of birthday. Okay. I was just like a house
in your
party.
living room. She just has 3 friends and some Chick-fil-A and a little Prosecco. She rented a yacht.
A little yacht with a private chef. I might have, I'm going to stay in LA.
Okay, so it was such a more bigger deal that he came to that then. You guys are on a boat. Okay, this is the whole... Now,
Thank you for clarifying. I have the visual has changed completely. I thought he was like in her kitchen, just helping her like pour the wine.
I may have downplayed it. It was like a nice situation.
It's 2020. You gotta treat yourself.
I know. I was like, well, look, I'm not going to Mexico, so let me bring a little luxury to the trip. So I rented this yacht and with a private chef and like an open bar and invited a few friends, and he came. And so, but during that time, my girlfriend was like, "Do you like him?" She was like, "Because you just seem very like cool." But I'm also very big on giving people their space, letting you just kind of navigate, enjoy yourself. I'm not the girl that's going to be all up on you like that. If we're in a relationship, then yes, I'm going to be hooked up. But like, if we're dating, I'm very much about like, when we go to a party or something, we don't have to be up under each other. Like, you network, do your thing, have fun, go get a drink at the bar. Like, we don't have to be like this. So I feel like she thought I was supposed to be like up under him. And I was like, no, I'm on the boat with my friends. None of y'all gonna try to talk to him. I know that much. So what do I have to be up under him for?
You can push them off the yacht if they talk to him.
I'm like, I know y'all know better. So I know I'm not gonna have no problems with that. Because my friends know I'm crazy.
Also, it's my birthday. I'm like going to be social, you know?
And she was just like, girl, you need to go like grab him. I'm like, he's here. Like I am grabbing him. He's with me here.
We're in the ocean.
We're at sea. Where is he going to go?
Where's he going, girl? We're in the Pacific.
That's my vibe now. I think I'm doing all my dates like in the maritime law. Like I feel like it's just every time I'm just gonna be on a ship and just set out. I'm like, you're stuck here. You have to let me.
Exactly.
Where are you going?
You can't go anywhere.
That's my advice, ladies. Get a boat and put him on that thing.
That's the takeaway. That's the episode title. So I wanted to talk about, you touched on this earlier, and I want to go back to it, this body language thing. Because obviously you guys are watching a date from the outside. Like, do you see things that just like happen all the time that you know immediately? Like, he's into her, he's not into her, she's into him, she's not into him. I mean,
right. When I'm looking at the do's and don'ts, I'm more of like, don't do this. And so like, I think people familiar too soon is a big don't. I just feel like you never know what someone's personal boundaries are. So it's always good to like just kind of gauge the situation. You can let them know when you're interested, or a light tap or something like that. But I think there are some people who get really familiar really quickly, and I'm not about that. Some people like it, but I feel like, if you don't know their last name, you being all up on them, an hour after you met is not a good look. And so I feel like you can make clear intentions, look them in their eye, have a conversation. When you laugh, if you want to do a little tappy tap, but I think some people go real left with it really quickly. And, that's when you get the pullback, because people are like, not that they're not interested, but they need to warm up to you. You have to give somebody a little time.
Are you seeing that mostly from women or men or both? Like who's initiating the extra touching?
I see it a lot on both sides, I will say. Probably a little bit more on the men's side, but I will say there are a lot of women who, go on these dates and they're very forward. A lot of them are they know what they want. They know when they're attracted to the guy. And, sometimes like we were talking about before, so a lot of people get drunk a little too soon and get a real free flowing. And I've seen that make the date go downhill as well. So I think just kind of going just at advanced speed soon within a few hours of a date is a big red flag for a lot of people.
Yeah. And you can, like, the second I'm on a date with somebody and he touches me lightly, like just the tiniest little, like during a conversation while we're laughing, like I'm like, oh, he's into it. Like that. I think most of us can pick up on, like, if you are getting touched in a teeny tiny way, right, the person is feeling you, because they made that effort to like reach out. Like, if I don't like somebody, I'm like hands to myself. Yes. Like, I don't even want
you to kind of tell. You hold your purse in front of you, like it's like
you keep your mask on.
Get out of here.
I gotta tell you guys, I was on a date a few years ago. I was at a bar with this guy, and we were facing each other at the bar, right? So I'm sort of sitting between his legs a little bit, and we had never hooked up. This is a first date with a person. I met him at another bar. We'd spent maybe 20 minutes together. This is our first date. I got up to go to the bathroom, and so like I was a little closer to him than I'd been sitting, and he like grabbed me and kissed me, and it shook me. It was too soon for this.
It was too soon. So you did not like it.
We're an hour into the date. The sun hadn't really even set yet. Like it was too much. And just because I have stood closer proximity to you to get out of the seat to go pee doesn't mean that it's time to put your mouth on my mouth.
He misread that thing. I had that guy do that too, right? Now, you know that story, right? When we first became friends, we like went to one bar, had a pre-drink, then went to this other bar, and why were his lips on my lips across a table? I was like, is this... All right. I mean,
it's just too much.
It's too much. Do you see
hand holding? Sorry.
That guy held my hand too.
I know. Hand holding on a first date.
Hand holder in general. So I'm just like, no, I'm not. I'm not into that, which I know a lot of people like it, but there are just certain things I like to do with my partner that like on a date, on our first date, especially, we don't need to do. Like, I sometimes feel like men have a playbook in their mind, a kiss, a hand.
That's how it feels.
It's like, I'm going to check off 1, 2, and 3. I did this on this, but it's like, no, it's a feeling. And I think with women, we move off of our feelings. That kiss could have been perfect if you were digging him and it was leading in that direction. But it's like, you can't skip one step, because if you do, it throws the whole thing off.
And everybody's different, and some people don't want it. You know, and I like, there's definitely girls out there that are like, I never kiss on a first date. I love to make out at the end of the date if we've really been feeling ourselves, like on the street, like not, you know, like everybody's got different boundaries. So anybody that goes into a date with any sort of like playbook is like doing it all wrong.
Agreed. I'm a big, like, there's people that I haven't kissed till a third date, and there are people I have kissed 3 hours into the date. It just depends. And that doesn't always mean longevity. Like, I've had amazing first dates with the guy, and then it kind of fizzles out. So it's just like, you know, you kind of have to play it by ear.
That's what I think. That's like something that people just do wrong, is like trying to apply any sort of formula to like a human being. I don't know. Like, it's like weird, like pickup artist dumb shit. Can the daters bring their phones?
No.
Okay. Because I was going to say, because phones are like a big thing on a date. Like,
but they don't have those types of distractions, but you'd be surprised without the phone. There's some people who give a lot of attention to the waiter or the waitress that it's kind of inappropriate. Like,
oh wait, I saw this clip. You guys posted it. Like, let's talk about this. Don't flirt with someone else on your date.
That's a crazy thing. Like,
you guys did that.
That flirting with the hostess. What are you doing?
Like, are you out of your mind?
Right. Like, can you come back and try to fuck the hostess tomorrow when I'm not with you?
And it's just like, you know, especially like these are all first dates. And I'm just like, are you that thirsty that you have to be so disrespectful to the person you're in front of that you would do this to them? Like, what do you think they're going to expect you to do if you were in a relationship? Like, you can't even walk in and and this is a first date's when you're on your best behavior. So if you can't even be good this first few hours, you got to go.
Right. Also, by the way,
it happens a lot.
I'm not really jealous. Like, I actually don't mind if I'm dating somebody being like, look at that girl, she's so hot. And like, we'll talk about them together. That's normal. Like, I'm not so insecure you can't talk about somebody in front of me.
But it's like the first date is like, we're not there yet. Now, once we're in a relationship and we both we're walking down, we see an attractive girl, I'm fine with being like, she's so pretty or whatever. But when we're on a first date, I want to know that you can put your attention on me. You can put your phone up. You can look me in my eye. You're not looking all around, looking all shifty like the police are about to come in here. Like, I need to know you know how to act.
I love that.
Take your family, because they're going to be hard on you.
Right. That's such a wild thing, like flirting on a first date. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like, get it out your system before you see the person.
Right. I want to ask you, so we've talked about like body language, things to talk about. Is there anything like really great that you see people do that you're like, that's a pro? Like, and you could think about it for something, but like a way somebody talks about a conversation or something they wore, or like, is there something you're like, yes, do that?
Well, you know what? I feel like the genuine compliments, like, and especially I like when it comes later in the date and they're just like, you know, I really enjoy this conversation, you know, like a genuine couple. There was a lesbian couple that met, and it was such a great match because one was like kind of, you know, artsy and nerdy. And the girl that dated her was like, I love like an artsy type. So it was just like but the other girl looked like this beautiful model, and they were just very opposites, and they just really hit it off. I think they're actually still dating. Sometimes I go back and check their social media, and they were still posting together. They even started, I think, like a couple YouTube or something like that. But it was like very genuine. The woman that admittedly said, I'm a nerd and, I'm just a little awkward. Like that was seen as like, attractive to the other girl, but she would never try to hide it. She was like, this is who I am. And because she was just her authentic self, it was, it was seen genuine from the other dater. And they really, really hit it off because of that. So I think when you can be authentically yourself and just kind of own that, the right person will appreciate it.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you too, you said something earlier that made me think of this, like in terms of compliments up top. Like, I feel like there's a fine line of saying something corny and cheesy and also acknowledging that someone looks nice. Cause, you were talking about, I got ready and I did my makeup and stuff. Cause I'm bummed out as a woman to put so much time and effort into a date and not get any, like no acknowledgement, but then there's also this line of like, it's too much.
I think who doesn't like a compliment or who doesn't like to be told that they look nice? I think, it can be a little much when they pour it on, or if the person has like a big butt or big breasts and the guy just keeps making a comment about it where it's like, always try not to focus on a body part, just be like, you look beautiful, and then, or, but it doesn't have to be like a constant part of the conversation, but you can still let them know you appreciate how they look without like zeroing in on a specific attribute. Cause I think that's when it gets creepy. Like when we have guys on these dates who are just like, we had one guy who was obsessed with butts. He took the girl to like a twerking class just so he could see her butt. And it was gross. It was just like, this is so gross. It's offensive. She didn't know he was obsessed with butts until they started the class. And he was like, dance in front of me, do this kind of, and it was just like, you're a full on creep, dude. Like, this is disgusting.
I will say that's a great thing to do with your actual like partner. My ex-boyfriend, I went to a Big Frida twerking workshop.
Did you really?
A twerk shop.
I didn't know about this.
I'll show you this. We went to a twerk shop.
I love Big Frida.
It was a good date. But a first date, if a guy was like, we're going to go to a twerk shop, I'd be like, no, we're not.
Because you don't know where you're going. So she shows up and she's just like, what is this place? And he's like, we're going to do a twerking class because I want to see that
so
thing
weird.
move. And she was just like, I'm on the show, so I'm going to do it. But it did not go well. And then they went to dinner and he didn't even know how to pronounce things on the menu. And it was a whole mess. It's like, stop focusing on twerking and get that thesaurus, boo.
I want to validate something you said about like sort of like misplaced compliments. And you're like, where is this coming from? This feels forced. And we talked about this a really long time ago with Dan Soder, who's a comedian. We called it future tripping, where like guys on a date, they talk about like the things you guys are going to do together in the future. And I think that they feel like that's
I hate that.
They feel like they're complimenting. They're like, well, we'll go there. I have these friends. You'll meet them. I'll tell you about them sometime.
Yes.
Like, would you like to go to Mexico with me this summer?
That's a red flag for me.
I find it a big red flag. And I think it's very straight. It's the same thing to me as a misplaced compliment. You're like, what are you doing here?
1,000%. I went on a date with a guy where we found out we were both Raiders fans. And he was like, I'm going to fly us up to the Bay Area. At the time they had moved to Vegas. And he was like, I'm going to fly us up to the Bay Area so we can watch a game. And, at the time I was into him. So I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. And then like later he just kind of really got really aloof. And obviously that never happened. But it was just like, that let me know, like, this is to disarm somebody. It's not to really make the plan. It's to disarm them so that they feel comfortable and feel like you guys might potentially have something to maybe potentially get what they want. So I think women there are some men out there that are really about that life and really about their word. But I think very early on, if somebody is making these promises of a future, or you're going to meet my friends, or we're going to go do this, or this thing is in November, but it's July. And he's like, I'm going to get us tickets. I just think you got to be careful. He might get the tickets, but he might not be taking you.
I hate it is a huge red flag to me, like to the point where like if it happened with a guy I was feeling, I would be disappointed because it's that much of a red flag. And I'm like, it's one thing if you fall for each other really hard and fast, that's different. Like that happened with a relationship of mine. We spent the whole weekend together. We were like, of course we're going to date. You could feel it. It was the vibe was there after 3-4 days, but like that first or second date and they start making these future plans. I just want to be like, run. Like, it's almost like across the board when
a friend of mine tells me that happened, it doesn't work out, or something crazy happens with that guy. Like he's a sleaze.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time
It feels plotted. It feels like they're like, this is what women want to hear.
Yep.
This is what they like. And it seems very premeditated. It's creepy to me. It's not creepy every time. And some people will say
it's authentic, but I just think even whether it's authentic or not, I think you have to, when they say it, you got to pay attention. And, you know, I had a girlfriend who was seeing a guy and they had only been dating for like 4 weeks. And she was like, well, we're looking at houses. And I was like, girl,
what?
why? I was like, you looking at, and she just kind of let herself go. She normally was not in fairy tale land, but for whatever reason, it was quarantine. And she had said something like, we're looking at houses. They did spend a lot of time together, but it was one of those things where they connected quick, it fizzled out quick. And she, you know, and when she told me the house thing, I was like, I know this isn't going anywhere. I didn't tell her that, but I was just like, if y'all looking at houses after 4 weeks,
Did it just fizzled out, or was he like a crazy person?
He was dating other people. He was lying about that. It was just, you know, she had met him on an app and, you know, they started seeing each other really quickly. I mean, this is what's crazy about the story. She's probably going to kill me that I'm saying this, but she was dating him. We both decided to join the dating app. This is mid-quarantine. We weren't really going out. So we were just like, we're both singles. We were like, well, maybe we'll just, you know, try it out. I'm not a huge fan of dating apps for myself. But I have a whole nother element because of TV and it just gets kind of weird. So I just don't really do it. But I was like, forget it, I'll try it. So we both got on. She met this guy and they started dating. And so they, you know, went really quickly. I think probably like they went on a date. This is like 3 weeks in. And she comes home and she calls me about the date. He had a very distinctive name. So as we're on the phone, I'm on speaker and I'm, you know, going on my dating app to see what my thing's like. And I'm like, girl, I think your man just matched with me. And mind you, I'm in LA. Wow. This is like, it's a lot of people here. So what are the odds?
Yeah.
And so she's like, no, it's not him. We've both decided to take ourselves off of dating apps. We're going to be together. That's not him. And I was like, okay, but I'm gonna send you this screen grab because I think this is him. And I had never seen him, but the name was very distinctive. And she's like, girl, it's not him. And she gets the screen grab. She's like, oh my God, it's him. So she's like, you have to message him.
Okay.
And
yes.
She was like, you have to message because maybe he friended you. And I'm like, okay. So he messaged me first before I could. And they had just got off the date. And he is not supposed to be on a dating app. And he was very much like hitting on me, trying to make a plan to meet. Like he was very active on this app, which let me know if he was doing it with me. There was at least 5 of the girls in his inbox that he was doing it with. And I was like, girl, like I sent her the script. I was like, I'm not comfortable asking anything else. I feel like you have what you need. I'm gonna block him. I'm gonna send you the screen grabs. You do what you want to do. But she was just so convinced before this that he was like the one. And then this crazy shit happened. And it was a huge red flag because he had told her he was off of date, which is like, if you're seeing other people, fine. But when a guy is lying about his status to you directly, that's a huge red flag. Because if he would have said, I'm still dating, I'm still on the apps, I want to get to know you better, but I'm not comfortable just completely being 100% faithful, then completely understand. But when a guy sells you a dream, I'm off the apps, I want to look at houses with you, you're the only woman I'm dating, that's a problem.
100%. And one thing I just want to say, we've had talked to so many people and I've never heard someone use the word disarm like you did. I love that so much. It's like speaking to me, like that's what it is like whether they realize it or not, a little bit of a manipulation. I like love that term. One thing I will say also, though, they could be like a really needy guy that's like on the mission to find a wife that night. Like there's 2 different things here. There's like actually like kind of the liar creepy type, like the fuckboy. And then there's like actual needy, desperate guy who is like wants to settle down and actually tomorrow. And you'll know which. You'll figure it out.
The thing about men is they reveal themselves quickly. You don't like what I always say is like, if you're dating a guy, he's going to reveal something. You may not get the whole hand, but there's going to be something about him that he reveals pretty early on where you can kind of discern what his intentions are. It's going to be something, there's going to be something that happens where, and you're like, oh, okay, this is who he is. And I think it happens probably within that first month. So I feel like a lot of us, what we do is though we see we see somebody say something, I'm not ready for a relationship, or I'm not doing this, or I'm dating, and knowing that's not what we want, and we still go forward. But when we actually see the physical action of it, then we're kind of like, I can't believe he's doing this thing. Because I think we always think our personality, the way we have sex, like all this stuff is going to change that thing. And it just doesn't. Like you know, we have seen women like Halle Berry, like we have seen that, and they still have the same problems everybody else does. It's not you. It's just what the other person is ready for. If I'm not ready to do something, I don't care who's coming in here. It's not going to change my opinion. So I think we just have to accept people for where they're at. And then you have to decide for yourself if this is something you are willing to deal with. And I think a lot of times we have to not pretend that we're something we're not. I have a lot of girlfriends who try to act like, you know, they don't wear their heart on their sleeves. They don't care if a man's faithful. Like, I'm a player too. And I think we have to have the maturity about ourselves. Like, I know I'm territorial. I need a one-woman man. I can't have an open relationship. No shade to anybody who can. Me personally, Nina, that's not happening. But I had to go through phases and stages to figure out what was for me. Sharing is not my thing. But there are some people who don't care, you know, and I think you just have to establish what is for you so that you're not fronting. And so you don't end up getting your heart broken when you're out here trying to pretend. And then you turn around and you crying into your pillow at night because you was trying to be big bad boss, knowing that was not in your DNA.
Well, I think it's okay to want what you want.
Yes. And I just got there too, you know, like I used to be the type of girl that was like, like I've always worried about coming on too strong just because I have a strong personality and I'm very vocal about what I want and need. And I've always been concerned like, how's this going to get perceived for the longest time? And as I was telling you guys earlier, now I could give a fuck less. Like, I just don't like, I'm going to say like how I feel. And obviously with tact, but like, I agree. Like, I feel like this, and I had this conversation with my best friend, and I'm like, if I'm dating a guy and we've been on 3 dates and I think to myself, I really like him, I can see myself in a relationship with him. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying like, I hope this goes somewhere. I'm really interested in you. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think you should be ashamed of wanting a relationship or wanting monogamy. Like, just because they're very clear to tell you that they don't want that. So you have to be very clear with what you want, because a lot of times men will say whatever until it's being applied to them, because it's like, yeah, you might want to be single, but just know I'm single too. So we both could be out in these streets. And, you know, I think sometimes that's a wake up call for them as well. Like, I think men have this thing of thinking like they're the only man that will want you. And you're just like, no, boo, I'm making a conscious choice to give time to you, to return these texts, to make dates. I have made a place for you in my life on purpose. That is a privilege. You don't have to get these text returns or call return. I don't have to make this time to meet you for happy hour. I don't have to DM with you. That can all be shut down. And I think they need to know that.
Right. But the first step is like changing your mindset. We talked about this with somebody, our guest we had recently. Her name's Shan Boudram. She's like a sexologist.
Oh, I love Shan.
Yeah. And she was saying the whole mindset is like that women but women and men, anybody is operating out of that scarcity model and is like,
totally
that is the only person. Mm-hmm. So if you are thinking that, we got to shift your mindset because a man will pick up on it, or anybody, you know, man, woman, but like when you actually think this is my one chance, I have to like lock this person down, they pick up on it. So the first step is like knowing that there's a million people you could match with, and like adjusting accordingly.
Of people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I promise you, girl, somebody else who did, you know, there are things that some of my friends do where I feel like their partner just completely does not appreciate it, where I know there are other men who would die to have, you know, their partner do that for them. So I just feel like there's like, I really believe the saying, there's somebody for everybody. And I definitely feel like, you know, for me, there were things that I didn't get in my last relationship that now when men do it, I appreciate it so much. And I make sure that I say that. I am very vocal with my appreciation to men now, because when you don't have it, when you're thirsty and you're not getting something, when you finally get it, you're just like, you know what? I just want to say I appreciate that. And because I vocalize that appreciation, I get it back. And it wasn't something that I really did before because I took it for granted until I didn't have it. Mm-hmm. And so I think we all learn and we grow. But I think you're right. Like if there is a lack, people pick up on it pretty quickly.
I love that. All right. Well, we could talk to you for hours. Like, I'm just like, watch the time. Like, do you have to do anything to do, or can you just hang out with us all night? But we kind of designed this segment
around dating apps, I mean, everybody that's on them or wants to be on them has the same type of questions. How do I make my profile better? You know, we've actually, for you guys that are listening, we have a whole episode on this. Raina, what do we call it? It was like called like dominating the apps or something. So we've tackled a lot of this, but we wanted to get into it with Nina, and we asked our listeners on Instagram, tell us what's been working for you on your profile or not. So it's kind of like we can kind of decipher. So some of these are really great. The ones I really want to chat with you about, and some of this is just like to commentate on and we can make you laugh, but a lot of these women have great prompts that gets them talked to and asked out, which I think is like the goal, to like open up a conversation. So those are kind of the ones I wanted to hone in on. So we're just going to go through some of these and see what you think.
Let's do it.
Okay. This one, I love the way she did this. So a lot of stuff about politics and people they just want to weed out the Trump people and things like that. So, but I like that she said, I changed a negative no Trump voters to a positive. I'm an independent, passionate feminist. I love that she said, I don't like any sort of thing on a dating profile that says no, none of this. You know what I mean? Like I can respect it, but I like that she was like flipped the tone.
Right. Yeah, I like that. And the thing is she probably still will get super uber conservative just because I feel like men sometimes have this weird thing where they feel like it'll be a challenge or, you know, she's not doing it for play. Like this is what she really means. So she doesn't have to entertain that. But I do like that she's at least putting it out there. For the most part, I think it will act as a deterrent to the types that she's trying to stay away from.
Right. All right. I'm going to do this next one. Looking for someone to eat me out. I mean, take me out to eat.
Oh, that's what she put on her prompt?
Yeah.
Oh, then she wants to hook up. So she's not looking for a relationship.
If she wants someone to come over and eat her out, I think it's a perfect way to achieve that.
100%. Lead with sex if you want sex.
Does she only want to hook up?
I think so. My feeling about this is that you're trying to look funny. And I flirt a lot. I lead with sex in person sometimes. I think leading with sex on a dating app, if that's what you want, if you just want to hook up, great. But I think that men are going to read that and it's not going to lead to very nice conversations for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can't be mad if you get unsolicited dick pics and, you know, you're having somebody, you know, give you that same energy. Because to me, there's nothing worse than unsolicited dick pic. Like I just like, sir, if you don't put that thing away, like please get this out my face. So I'm that's not what I'm looking for. So I don't lead with that. But you know, I'm not mad at a woman knowing what she wants if I just don't know what her goal is with that. And it's also a little elementary to me. Like it's a little immature.
Yeah. Okay. This was a theme we saw that our listeners said worked, and it was food related. And here's just a few. I'll run through a few quick ones. Someone wrote, "If you're reading this, I'm probably hungry." She said, "This got me a boyfriend too. My love language is chicken tenders. So many guys offer to bring me chicken tenders or take me out for chicken tenders, and in a relationship with pizza, but willing to make exceptions. I got so many answers." So, I mean, Brain and I, our podcast is called Girls Gotta Eat. Like we're all about like the food stuff. So I think like anything where you can open somebody up, like
totally.
My love language, chicken tenders. Of course, the guy's going to be like, "So where's your favorite chicken tenders? Can I send you chicken tenders?" You know,
I think on one of mine, it was like, what do we like to debate or something like that. And I said, New York versus LA pizza, tacos, which coast has the best such and such. I put that on mine and I got so many responses to like men like, of course, LA is better, or I'll take you to the best taco spot, or, you know, you should go to this place that has these tacos in this little hole in the wall. So I had a lot of men who like genuinely wanted to debate me, but it ended up turning into like a fun conversation about like our favorite places to eat and things like that. So that actually did work.
And then you have the opener for the date. Like, and then you have the opener for like, well, you've never been to my favorite taco place. I got to take you.
Right. And especially when it's simple food, when you're talking about chicken tenders, tacos, pizza, when you start talking about other things, and it's just like, okay, where is this going? So
my favorite caviar in the city.
Keep it basic.
Yeah.
Okay. Recently added my love for mustaches. Responses have exceeded expectations.
Oh.
So she just wrote on her profile, "I love mustaches." And I think that guys think that's funny. I think that's like an opening line to be like, here's this one time I had a mustache.
Yeah. I think that's super cute. And it's specific because mustaches don't get the love. The beards are getting the love, you know? Right. So you know, it gives the mustaches. Not every guy can grow a beard that connects. So they must feel, you know, I know a lot of them can get a mustache. Not all of them can get a beard.
Those
so I feel like
guys.
that opens your playing field. If you put, "I just love beards," that's all you're going to get.
I just love it because it's a compliment already. Like if a guy with a mustache is like, oh shit, I already have an in, and it's not something that's like derogatory, like I love big titties. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if some guy was like, I like a girl with freckles, I'd be like, oh, well, I already have those. Let me slide in here. As opposed to like, I like a body part. Like it's just kind of like, it feels like it's an instant kind of compliment. Okay. This one I love. I think Hinge, maybe the prompt says like, I'm looking for, and then you answer it. So she said she wrote golf lessons, and so many guys have slid in there and offered to give her golf lessons. And she says lessons are expensive and I really do want them. And I've had a lot of guys give them to me for free. So she's getting golf lessons on top of it. But
girl hustle.
There's that making a guy feel needed. You can appeal to something he knows how to do, like stuff like that. Like
and I think that's a great idea when there really truly is something that you love and or have a curiosity about that you're like, hey, I've always wanted to do this. So I think it's important. Like if there are certain type of dates you like going on, I think you can position your questions to kind of give the hint, since you know what I mean. The people may not know who you are. So if you give a hint about loving to play pool and you want to perfect your pool game, being like, I'm looking for a pool shark or something like that, to where it's like people can say like, or, maybe you like gamers, like kind of positioning it in a sense where you give them an opportunity to kind of show you a part of who they are too. I think that's always fun.
And just like making it easy. Like I feel like we keep getting these, we see a lot of like, guys are supposed to take control and everything like that. But some of them are nervous to ask a stranger out. Like why not make it like the easiest, like low hanging
on the apps, sometimes they get scary. So it's like you're finally there and then they still kind of don't know what to do. So just giving that extra push is beneficial.
Yeah, we say all the time, I mean, your prompt should provoke conversation.
Yes.
There's this other one that we wrote down. My bio is, I just moved to NYC. Let me know what your favorite bar is. That is such a great opener. It's not like aggressive. I think that people get wrapped up in trying to be like funny, but that's such an easy opener. Like put things there that will create conversation easily for people.
Totally. And listen, a lot of us, it's just like funny is relative. Because like for me, I like sarcasm and I put that in my bio. It was like, what attracts you? And I think my first thing was sarcasm. And I had so many men who, it attracted some cornballs who thought they were sarcastic and funny, but it also attracted, a lot of guys who kind of remarked about sarcasm and witty things as well. So, it's just like, I think the more specific you are about those little quirks, the better.
Yeah. And she also added on there, I met my boyfriend this way and got bar recommendations. So what better way to like, now you have, when I first moved to New York and I was going on dates, guys would take me to these places. And then I have all these places that I know about. And then I would take future guys and they'd be like, how did you hear about this place? Like, I stole all the date places. Like
I always say that too. When I take somebody, I'm like, I better not see you here with nobody else. I better not see you.
This is
my territory.
This is a great one too. Hinge asks, and again, you can also, I think Bumble does these now too, where you have the prompts that they lead you into it. She says, it's like, never have I ever, it's something along those lines. Never have I done something. And she said, been to Costco. I get so many responses and offers to take me.
That's another one of those things. You never been to Costco?
Yeah.
You gotta go. Oh, that's a good one.
Someone said Chick-fil-A for one of those, like just whatever it is, like if it's a crazy thing. Someone said, I've never seen Star Wars, like things like that are normal and you haven't done them, like instant opener and invitation.
For sure. I love that.
I like this because I think everybody can relate and you can come up with a creative answer and somebody can give you a creative answer back. So the prompt is best gift I've ever gotten. She said pornaments, which I will tell you guys what that is, and she said men love it. They are like porny Christmas tree ornaments, they're like Santa or like Mrs. Claus with their titties out.
The sanctity of Christmas.
We'll send you one.
A whole box of them in my apartment. But I think this is a really creative way that you can say something funny, display your personality, and then you can sort of test like what their person. If somebody's like socks, I'm like, oh, we're not vibing.
1,000%. And that's boring too. It's like, I mean, who hasn't gotten some whack clothes for their, for Christmas. Right. But I love that. I love I'm very attracted to randomness, like the random shit that happens to people and then being able to talk about it. Like, I just think it's so funny. So I love that she put that on there, even, and it adds a little, like gives a window for some flirtation with that type of thing without it being too gross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think you can kind of do the math on what a pornament is, but like we only know that because we know the brand. Like a lot of people would be like, what is that? And then you
you talk about it and then you're being flirty.
Right.
And I love that Raina mentioned socks too, because this one is Hinge asks you your most controversial opinion. And hers is, I love sleeping in socks. I get so many responses. I sleep in socks. Don't at me.
You do?
My feet get cold, but here, see, now you guys are invested. So my thing here is the same thing. Now you're talking about a bedroom. Now you're talking, you're going to go back and forth. It's not like you're not debating a political candidate. You're not going to get heated about socks. So it's like, then you're talking about, well, I mean, I don't know. I get kind of cold at night. And then the guy's like, it can get flirty without being nasty.
It can be flirty. I love that. I love that because if you did, I don't sleep with any underwear on. That's too overt.
Yeah, too much. Yep.
So the socks is perfect. I might actually use that. That's really good.
Yeah, steal the ornaments thing too. Steal all these. Okay, best opening line is a hot dog, a taco, or a sandwich. Ashley and I debated this forever on an episode in February. I feel like a taco is a taco.
Nina, what do you think about this?
I don't think a taco is either. I feel like it's in its own class.
Me too, but
I definitely don't feel like it's
technically it's a taco. If you read the technical description, it's a taco.
I like it. Now I want tacos for dinner. But yeah, I feel like it's its own entity. But I love like the super controversial things. Like I feel like with Black people, like it's like, do you put sugar in your grits, like or not? Like that's like been a controversial thing, So I feel like you could put something controversial about food or like fun fact, I hate mac and cheese, change my mind, like that kind of something like that where people are like, this is blasphemy. They might be mad, but then they were still messaging you about it.
We saw someone she opens with, we don't need to dwell on this because I have one I wanted to end on, but she said, what's your favorite potato? That's a great way to open, like fries, mashed, whatever, like just get the conversation going. Everybody loves to talk about potatoes, I think. And then this is just one I love, like, I feel like a guy can't really pass this up. Bet you can't beat me in a game of one-on-one. She said, dudes loved it, always wanted to take me up on it. And the same thing, you can do this with bowling, ping pong.
Connect Four, Uno, like anything.
Bet you can't fold a fitted sheet, like little like non-aggressive challenges, I think are going to attract the conversation.
Especially because I think men in general are just competitive. Mm-hmm. So something like this, but I also think doing competitive things with your partner is really fun. So I think, it just already encourages like a fun activity.
Yeah. Well, we could talk to you literally forever. We have kept you for a long time. This has really been so great for us. I can't wait to text Ashley about you after we shut this down.
Yeah.
Well, we know that everybody will want to like find you. So tell people when your show premieres.
Well, Nightly Pop is on Monday through Thursday. So you can catch us Monday through Thursdays. Sometimes it's 11, sometimes it's 11:30, sometimes it changes. But either way, you can find us in your local listings Monday through Thursday nights. And then Dating No Filter will be back in November. And my Instagram handle is Ms. Gossip Girl. That's MZ Gossip Girl. And that's on pretty much everything. That's how you'll find me.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. This was such a great conversation. Thanks for opening up to us about everything and giving us all the dating tips. And this is great.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I had so much fun.
And you know where to find us, girlsgottaeatpodcast.com, new merch, Girls Gotta Eat Podcast on Instagram, Ash Hess, Raina.Greenberg on Instagram, girls_gotta eat on Twitter, and youtube.com/girls gotta eat. And we'll see you next week.
Have a good week, guys.
Oh, guys, Godspeed. Bye.